Hey everybody, welcome to The Well. This is a show where we do what you do, and we're going to take you on that journey to see how we've developed our financial advisory practice as digital marketers turned financial advisors.
All right, welcome back. This is episode number 7 in our seminar replay series here at The Well with RA.
Yeah, this is it's a good one. It's a little different than the everything else we've done up to this point.
It's a lot different.
Yeah, a lot different, big time. Honestly, though, it's interesting. We for years pre-COVID, we preached pretty hard. Hey, you don't need to do dinners. You can do educational format. You don't need to spend the money on dinners. As COVID started and kind of waned, we had a handful of advisors that, regardless of what was going on with restrictions and mandates and all that stuff, said, we're doing seminars. We're not backing off. And where they had been doing educational stuff in libraries and, community centers and things like that, those places were closed. So, they went to restaurants and they were killing it because they were the only ones doing it, and kind of just got after it. And we saw the success that they were having as things have progressed, post COVID. Now, I would say probably 70 to 80% of the campaigns that we see run now are dinners, or at least some sort of food is offered.
Yeah, and I would take it even further back than that. Like 2014, you and I were working at an FMO.
Yeah,
and it was a fantastic place, fantastic people, great group. And we were really kind of young and fresh and innovative. But I would say our average advisor was probably like a, 1 to 3 million advisor. Of course, we would take the 5 to 10, and we had a couple of those. But so we were serving a market where it's like you're running seminars, but you're also not necessarily doing them every single week. Mm-hmm. So I think we were trying to be really money conscious at that point. So educational kind of fit that bill, because It's like you just need $100 for your library. Everything else is straight up into the marketing. Yep. So we kind of started there and was doing Social Security essentially only, kind of a Social Security lead into a financial plan seminar. And so that's what we did for years to start with. And then I remember, flirting with this idea of like, can we do a more of a full circle style?
I'm not dignifying that with a response.
Okay. There's a little inside joke there. Can we do more of like a holistic retirement planning style seminar? And then we dabbled in, and then it worked. And now, like you said, I think with COVID and like everything past that, now it works. It's like, to me, if you like Social Security and you're really good at it, it's something you're passionate about, still use it. It works. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to use Social Security now. You can do a holistic retirement planning. Yeah.
I have an earworm now. I think that's what it's called. I can't get full circle out of my head.
Well, let's tell the people they want to hear it.
Richy is a genius marketer. He's a good designer.
Yep.
And back when we were working at the FMO, he came up with this brand called Full Circle Retirement. And if you're out there listening, you're looking for a new brand, steal it. I don't care. Take it and use it.
No, we still own it.
It looked like Simon Says, man. Like
it did look like Simon Says. It did. Okay, I'll give you that. It did.
I like the name Full Circle. I hated the branding. It was like my least favorite thing ever.
You didn't even tell me that until like a month ago. It was probably a year ago.
Yeah. I mean, it was you were so proud of it, and I just couldn't.
It was like the first
club your.
Yep. Well, maybe I appreciate that then. I don't know. But it was like a holistic thing. It was like...
Yeah, I love the idea of it. I just hated the branding so much. Social
Security, income planning. Yeah. We want to thrive in retirement. We want a legacy.
Yeah.
It was like the whole thing. It was like a full circle deal. But yeah, Andrew absolutely hated it. So ever since then, I always throw it in from time to time.
Yeah, we're getting off topic of those. All right. So we started doing seminars.
Full Circle Marketing.
Nope. Not doing that.
Okay.
We started doing dinners because we kind of study. We see thousands of these things, and we study the best producers in the industry, and we're like, hey, where are the best producers having success? It was dinner seminars. Like,
yeah, 100%.
If we're gonna model our business after the top producers in the industry, they're all doing dinners.
Yep.
And maybe not all, but 99.9. It's the vast majority.
Yep.
And so that's what we decided to do when we started doing this. Is hey, we're gonna set ourselves up for the greatest opportunity for success, which is doing dinner seminars, but that said, we still have quite a few clients that do educational events. And so why not give that a try too? We've talked about in past episodes, hey, we've kind of come up with this idea that, hey, this is a real business now. We're going to actually invest money into it and grow this thing. But we're still in what I call test kitchen mode, where we're still trying things that our advisors are doing to see how they work for us.
Right.
You know, maybe this is a way that we could save some money on our marketing. Maybe we really like the educational style. Maybe whatever. Maybe. And if nothing else, it gives us real world experience for what some of our advisors are doing.
That's right. And we've talked about in past episodes too. It's really great to have 4 or 5 different venues that you can mix into the crowd there. So this one was only, I don't even know, a mile and a half from the office here.
Super close, yeah.
Super close. It's in Fishers, which is a known kind of area for us.
Yep.
And so we found it, and super nice venue.
Beautiful venue.
It's just beautiful. I mean, it's a little bit kind of off the road.
Yeah, it's a little off the beaten path a little bit.
Just a little bit, but once you get to it, it's like, wow, okay, this beautiful parking, perfect entrance. You know, it has like really nice concrete floors and good decor, really nice lighting. Whatever tables we want, even they would provide. I think they had like speakers and stuff we could tap into there.
Yeah, the whole AV setup, everything. I mean, it was beautiful. If you were doing like we could do a wedding there. It was pretty for like a baby shower, or a bridal shower, or a wedding, or
it's
some
new.
sort of like apartments, whatever. Like it's a nice building, reasonably priced. I think the whole day cost us like $180 or something. It was really cheap
For the room, yep.
Yeah, and it was super reasonable. Staff was a little, they're rough around the edges.
It's like a government run building, so they didn't really care. Like, here's your key, there's your room.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But it was clean. The key worked.
Yep.
You know, it was ours. They weren't even there. We had our own key that opened it up, and so it felt like our building. And what I remember saying is like it would be a perfect kind of like client appreciation event place.
Yeah. If you bring in some nice catering and maybe some band or something like that, like it would have been a great spot to host an event where you know what you're going to have.
Yep.
Like if you know the attendee list and you know who's going to show up, and you're not like marketing to cold traffic like we do. It would have been great. It is a great space, and we will probably use it for something like that in the future, but I don't know that we'll ever go back there for a seminar campaign.
Yeah, I don't know why, and I don't know either, and we'll talk about why in just a second. So to this point, this is our 6th seminar campaign. Mm-hmm. We're not afraid to invest into ourselves. You know, you were saying that earlier. Doing dinners was on purpose. We know it's going to be more expensive, but I'll bet on myself every single day. No problem with that. So we've put in about $40,000 total, including this one, worth of expenses. We've moved a little over $3 million to this point. So, but we've only done food. So this is our first educational, you know, and it's like, can we get the same room? And kind of an added thing to that is, will our presentation also work?
Right.
You know, because again, we're kind of guinea pigs at this point for RA in a lot of ways. So can the presentation that we've proven on the dinner seminar side also work for a non-dinner seminar? Can it work in an educational style?
Right.
What are your thoughts around that? Because I mean, I think at a dinner, a lot of times, maybe in the ways of old, like the old school seminars, used to educate, almost over-educate, where they're like, man, they know what they're talking about. I got a book.
Right.
But you do that today, like, in my opinion, people fall asleep. There's no personality there. You're going to lose appointments doing it that way. So for us, our seminar has always been very punchy, like very impactful. Was that a punch? That's like the more symbol.
I don't know what you're doing. I'm just going with it.
Okay, punch. We just punch your mic. So really punchy, right. And we want to be relevant too. We want to ride the waves of what they're concerned about. Like inflation is out of control this year. Let's talk about inflation, right. Fees, you know, different things like that. So, but then there's a meal. Now we don't have the meal. So will that same punchy style 30-minute presentation resonate enough to get appointments? And then in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, usually you finish your presentation, break bread together, like you said, we're doing this thing. But now it's like, okay, well, you guys can go. Right. You know, so I'm thinking like, what's that? What is that going to feel like now?
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I hadn't even really thought through it, because it's been several months now. But we did kind of wrestle with that, like, because what Richie's getting at, if you're not catching on here, is our seminar isn't super didactic. You know, we're not teaching a lot when we do our seminar. We're getting them to know, like, and trust us. We're talking about the things that are happening right now in today's economy that they need to be concerned about or have plans for in their retirement. So if you're coming to kind of get to know us, it's perfect. And the food is another way to get to know us, and we, you know, get some personality. But we're not giving a ton of information. But in an educational format, they are expecting to be educated. And I personally, because I was giving the bulk of the content in the presentation at that time, and I felt a lot of pressure because I'm not really educating here. I'm talking about these things, and I am giving some educational information, but I'm not teaching a class on taxes. I've been to some of those seminars where it's like, holy cow, this guy knows a lot about taxes. And I don't know that stuff about taxes, or if I know it, I wouldn't be able to just spit it out the way that they do. So I think I even said to you at some point, like, I kind of feel icky calling this educational when I'm not educating at all. It's more of like, hey, get to know us, and I'm selling the appointment.
Right. What is the purpose of the seminar?
It's to get the appointment.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's how we've built our presentation, and we built it around a dinner so that there was some added value. Mm-hmm. But we're just getting the appointment. So, I mean, in hindsight, what you delivered was perfect. I don't think there was any disconnect. I don't think anybody was sitting there like...
we did get feedback from one person that was like, you didn't really teach us anything.
Oh, okay. One person.
She was not very nice. Anyway.
Yeah, you're never going to please everybody. So kind of grain of salt there. Right. I do think, traditionally in that format, we could have probably gone a little deeper. Mm-hmm. But yeah, our seminar is designed more to like get the questions stirred.
It's to get the appointment.
It's only to get the appointment.
Yeah.
And we do that by stirring questions in their mind. Like, right. I might not have that answer. Oh man, I didn't think of that. I might need that. How do I protect against that? It's much more of those things than actually presenting solutions. Because the other thing I always like to say is like, hey, at one point in the seminar, right before I pass it off to you, I'll usually say, hey, look, you got to hold, I hate saying this, but you have to hold your questions, because in a room this size, you guys have different situations. There's probably like 8 different answers I could throw out to you just on the spot. And I don't want to disrespect your hard work in your situation by doing that. So hold your questions, because that's what part 2 is all about. We'll spend as much time as you need to in part 2, going over everything that you need. I think that's how our seminar is kind of built, though, is to get those questions stirred so that we can answer them in part 2.
Yeah, 100%. There's no question about it. It's to protect ourselves a little bit, but also, like you said, I think that the presentations that go really heavy on one topic go over the head of probably 90% of the people in the room. It doesn't really apply to them. It's not their specific situation. And so you're not building that affinity with the prospect that you need to. And at some point, I don't know at what point we'll do it, but we will go through our presentation slide by slide and show you what we're talking about. Because, I mean, some people, when they look at it, like, that's it. Like,
see, I disagree. I think a lot of people look at it and they go, wow, like that is like, it is very simple, but it's like very designed. Like,
yeah, it's intentional.
It's intentionally designed.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, that's simple. I think I could plug in and actually use that. And we're like, yeah, that's the point. We want it to be super simple, replicatable. And so, yeah, I mean, call us at RA. We'll go over, do a demo, anything that you guys need. That's the whole point of this podcast. It's not for us to talk about what we're doing.
Right.
It's that hopefully to serve you guys, get you some information maybe you haven't thought of that you can resonate with. But if you need a presentation, if you need a process, absolutely, that's why we're doing this.
Yeah,
call RA.
And the imposter syndrome in me is like, oh, it's not the end all be all. But you know what? I think it's
sliced bread.
It's sliced bread. It's of all the presentations, and we've seen hundreds of seminar presentations. I think ours it's the easiest to learn for sure. Mm-hmm. And because it's not really anything to learn. You just tell some stories about yourself and past experiences and clients and what's happening in today's economy. You're just pointing out the places that these people need to have a plan, and that's really it. Yep. And it is very simple, but it works really, really well. And we've had we've had the 1 or 2 people, you don't really teach me anything, but we've also had, I don't know, 10 times as many people that we really appreciated your approach.
They say you're relevant, you're fresh. I've never been to one like this before.
Right.
We get that every single seminar. We get that.
Yep. Yeah, and people like it. They like that, hey, we're not trying to solve all your problems over a 30-minute presentation. Yeah.
It's not a product push. This isn't, this is us being genuine guys. This is how we support our families. This is what we like to do. We're good at it. Right. Hopefully we can serve you. Yeah. That's really all it is. So here's the problem, though. We started marketing with no meal, just educational style, mm-hmm. and we only got like 7 people to register in the first couple of days. Yeah, that was the issue. It was like, okay, is it a venue problem? Is it... in our minds, we've only done dinners at this point. So we're like, it's got to be dinner.
Right.
So we met with the team, and we're kind of doing these creative meetings. And we do that with everybody's campaigns. Like, we have a red, yellow, green system. Anything yellow, we're going to work on. Anything red, we're going to work on. It's just to get better and better and better. We're always split testing and greens, that kind of stuff. So for us here, it's like, okay, why are we not getting people to register? What would be the answer? Because we've already paid for the venue. We're not going to leave it. We've already started marketing, so we need to keep the marketing going. So in our minds, it was like pizza. Who doesn't like pizza?
Everybody likes pizza.
Yeah, everybody likes some pizza. Mm-hmm. So we found a venue that had really good stars. Because, again, I was like, I don't want to serve Domino's.
Right.
You know, because then it just feels so weird to me. Like, just such a weird, like, hey, come to our weird place and have some weird pizza with us.
Have
and
some mediocre pizza.
Yeah, work with us. I didn't like that. So we found this place that was a little bit, I would say, upper scale pizza.
Yeah.
And we started promoting it.
Yep, sure did. And sure enough, we got it. I would say the registrations didn't come flying in, but it definitely improved. You know, if we had 6 or 7 in the first weekend, you know, I think by the end of the week we probably had 20 registrations. So we, you know, we improved by, you know, 100%, if you will, from a cost per registration standpoint.
Yeah, and we usually do this at the end, but since we're talking numbers, we had 24 household units register total. We did this is a lunch. Well, see, I did it. This is a 12 p.m. and a 6 p.m. event on the same day. 24 total for the day. 15 households attended, which 62.5%.
Really strong.
Super strong on an educational event. I mean, that was, silver lining, that was solid. We booked 6 appointments. We had 2 at lunch, 2 at dinner, and then 2 more ended up coming in after.
Yep.
So those were the numbers. But yeah, it started off very, very slow. And it was like, how do we get some more numbers? Because I don't want to present to 2 people in the room. That's kind of everybody's fear, is like, what do you do in that? Like, what do you do? If there's 2 people that show up, do you...
We've talked about it. We've fortunately never had it happen. But, I mean, I think at that point, what I would do if it were just me, I would sit down with them and say, hey, we're going to go through this presentation, even though it's just the 2 of us. You know, we had a bunch more people registered. They just didn't show up. So we're going to go through this. And I hope it's helpful for you. And we'll get to know each other really, really well. And hopefully this will be a helpful experience for you.
I would stand up there and be like, you know, we've done these events with 30 people in the room. But what's really good is if there's only 1 or 2 of you.
It's ideal when there's only 3 people in the room.
Ideal if there's, because I can really look at you, person.
Like, Bob, you're my guy. Oh, man.
We got your questions answered, Bob.
We'll just fast forward to part 2 right now.
But I've thought about that. It's like, man, what do you, but I think you're right. I think I would really casual it down. And I think I would sit at the table and be like, look, here's the 5 things we were going to cover tonight. What are you guys interested in?
Yeah.
Almost host a first appointment instead of doing the seminar, because I don't know, it just would feel really weird to like try to present and be on, having a show when there's 2 people in the room.
Yeah.
And I was legitimately afraid of that here because there was only 7 people, I think, at lunch. And I'm pretty sure when they first showed up, there was only like 3 or 4 in the room. And me and you were like, what are we going to do? Like, and we were kind of going through this exercise of, what are we going to do? And then luckily a couple more showed up. So 7 in the room at least gave us a little bit of a U-shape audience to like present to.
Yeah, it was hard. It was, if you've done seminar marketing, like if you have a low number there, like there's some value to it because you can get really personal with people and you can like interact with people, but the energy in the room is just so much lower when there's less than 10 versus when there's 15 to 20 or 25. Like that, the energy level is, you just have to work a lot harder as a presenter. Yeah,
and like you said, that one person that hates what you're saying really drags the room down when there's only 3 of them in there.
Right.
So it's kind of difficult. So we put this pizza restaurant on there that we thought was really good. We get to the day of the seminar. Time to go pick up those pizzas.
Yep. And that restaurant's not open that day.
How did we do that?
I don't know. Like we were just like looking for like a pizza place that had, I really wanted it to be like coal fired, like nice Neapolitan style pizza, like something that would be attractive to people.
Yeah.
I'm going to have some pizza today. And so we found this place and it looked great, but I didn't look at the hours. I just looked at the reviews and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And this was, I think, a Tuesday.
It was Tuesday. Yep. It was Tuesday.
And what pizza restaurant is it open on?
I think what it was though, is it was open. If I remember, I want to say it was open for dinner, but not.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It wasn't open for lunch, but it was open for dinner.
So we needed to order it at like 10 a.m. to get it there by noon, and they weren't open yet to take the order. So
That's what it was. It was the day before. They weren't open on Mondays.
Yeah.
And so I hadn't ordered ahead of time, and they weren't open on Mondays. They weren't opening on Tuesday until after our presentation was already going to start, and I didn't want to try to do 2 different places.
Yep.
So I like scrambled last minute to find, I don't even remember the name of the place we ended up going to.
It was like Blackjack, some stupid.
No, it wasn't Blackjack. Blackjack is pretty bad.
No, what was it? It was
man, Blackjack's a Colorado brand. Yeah, that's a terrible pizza. It was a throwback.
But to me, it was equivalent. I picked it up at a gas station.
Hot Box. Hot Box. That's what it was. Hot Box. It's not bad.
Buco de Pupo box.
Yeah, that was. Oh,
it was
man.
Buca box.
I would eat this pizza like with my family, like family movie night type thing. Like I would not probably go out of my way for it.
I don't know.
I definitely wouldn't go out of my way for it.
I would go Little Caesars over.
Oh, Hot for Box. Value, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, but even Little Caesars kind of delicious. Back when I
For
was young
$5,
and made
yeah, I
zero
mean-
money, that's what we ate on family movie night. It's kind of a throwback. But
Yeah, I don't mind Little Caesars. It's not my favorite.
this place was literally like you walk through a door to go to the gas station. Like, it just was like, what? Like, it's just a weird thing. I don't know. So
I didn't pick the pizza up. I just ordered it.
yeah, you ordered it. I went in there and I picked it up, brought it back. And then so of course we've been promoting a different restaurant, which now we're not serving. But it's the day of, so we're not going to tell everybody. You know, it's
So
like,
what are you gonna do?
so I think we did say something like, "Hey, they were."
Well, people asked.
Yeah, oh,
people
did they?
asked because there was one of the couples actually came in for an appointment. They came in and they're like, "Oh, I've been really excited to try Angelino's or whatever it was." And we've seen it, but we've never been. We're really excited to have it. And I was like, about that.
Yeah, so Andrew's back there with a Sharpie writing Angelino's on the boxes, and I'm like, "Don't do that. That's weird." He's like, "No, they're not going to know. It's all good."
Oh man.
So we have this pizza and we put it in the back on these tables. And honestly, to my surprise, they got up and got their pizza and ate it. I mean, I just, to me personally, I feel so weird about that. Like I just cannot go to somebody's
a little pizza buffet.
Yeah, a little pizza buffet. I can't go to somebody's event and eat, Buka box pizza. It's just not my thing. I don't know.
The pizza wasn't that bad.
Go watch our Buka episode if you don't know what I'm talking
episode
about.
3?
Episode 3, yeah.
Episode 3, yeah. Buko de Pupo.
Yeah, so now we got Buka box, but they, they picked up their pizza, came back and ate it, and we did, I remember Hannah like folded the napkins special and like put some chocolates, and I think we had some mints or something like that.
Yeah, probably the number one thing we got out of that is now we keep like York peppermint patties or Andy's mints in our office to give to people. Because at that event, we had to dress up the table. Hannah bought like little votive cup candles and like we lit them, and it was like little centerpieces for hot box pizza.
That's funny to think about.
Oh wow!
But you're right. If nothing else came out of it, those mints, everybody loves it.
Everybody loves it. When they come in now, we always have a mint for them.
Yeah, we always put a mint right in front of where they're gonna sit. I always pull their chair out just a little bit so I know where they're gonna sit. Yep. And it's right there, and they always say, "Oh, that's so nice." And then we always hand them a water. Yep. Because I don't know if it was you or heard from somebody or whatever.
George told us.
George. Oh, it's George. Yeah. Said, don't put the water in front of them. Make sure you hand it to them.
Yeah, you're giving them a gift.
You're giving them a gift, and they're receiving it, and it kind of opens up. So we've been doing that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Does it? I'm not sure.
Doesn't hurt anything.
The mints we put there, and then we always hand them the water or the coffee. Yeah. Sometimes we'll go. There's a coffee shop down the street. And we'll go down there. Sometimes, because actually that's a strategy I'll text them and say, "Hey, getting ready for our appointment. Would you like a coffee?" And really, all I'm doing there is confirming that they're going to be there. Right. But they'll usually reply no. But now I know they're coming. Right. But sometimes we'll pick up. They'll say yes. We'll pick up a coffee, and so. Yeah. Anyways, a little side tip there.
Yeah. And we've already gone through the stats. We did not write any business from this event.
This is the second one that we don't talk about unless you're on this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't. We had 6 appointments. I think probably 4 or 5 of them stuck. One of them was a really great couple that we took through to the end, but ultimately I think the age was the issue there. They had some assets, but they couldn't be moved because of their age. They weren't health-wise, they couldn't qualify for any kind of life insurance opportunities. So it was just not I think there was quality in the room, for sure. Even in that small room, there were people there there was one individual in particular that definitely had assets. And she wasn't buying what we were selling.
Yeah, there's a guy at the dinner I remember, really high quality. Oh yeah. But just didn't set. Didn't set. So so some solid lessons learned there. Oh, before we forget, on the last episode, we were going to give you this tip and we forgot.
Yeah. So if you have staff there, and you should have staff there, Paul started doing this for us actually a couple seminars ago. Yeah. As people are coming in and getting seated, he'll kind of surreptitiously, I don't know if I'm saying that word right.
Now he just does it obvious. Now when we present, he just comes up right beside us and takes a picture of the room.
At first he was like being sneaky, and he'd snap a picture of like people as they're coming in or as they're getting seated. He'd be kind of like looking at it, like taking pictures of the room or whatever. Now he'll just like, as the presentation started and everybody's looking at the screen, he'll just walk up to the front and stand behind Richy and just like snap. And the reason he does it is because while the seminar's happening, he'll edit the pictures and he'll put people's names. He'll tag, he'll make us basically a roster, like a visual roster of who's there, which has been super, super helpful because it's like, hey, I got 12 or 13 or 14 appointments. I don't remember what Mary and John look like. And, for watching for them in the lobby or something like that, it's like, I mean, I can guess, but there's a lot of people coming in and out of the lobby.
Dude, I can't remember anything. I'm really bad with names and faces. And now that we're seeing like literally dozens and dozens a week. Right. I very quickly forget the name even of the last appointment that I had.
Right.
So even just a little behind the scenes at RA, when we go to a group event or something like that, and we travel there, we always put together an intel roster.
Yeah.
Because I want to know the people that work there, even though we've been, I want to make sure that I remember who they are, their names, their titles, what they do. And then who have we worked with from that group, or who are we working with from that group? How did their events go? What were their numbers? Any highlighted notes? Because you want to be able to go into the situation prepared and ready.
Right.
So him doing those pictures is, for me, I reference those all the time. Every single time we have an appointment, I look up the name. Okay, now I remember. I can remember where she's sitting at the event. And I can remember the name. Put two and two together. So much smoother.
Yeah, that was. I don't know if he just decided to do that or if it was just an idea he had or what. But that's been really, really helpful. So if you're not doing that, just snap a quick picture of whoever's in the room, label it. The way he does it, essentially he draws a map of the room, and as people are checking in with Crystal or Hannah, he sees where they sit and he writes down their name. Then when he takes the picture, he references the map that he's drawn with the pictures, and that's how he makes that picture for us. And usually there's, I don't know, a couple dozen pictures, or not, maybe a dozen pictures that he sends, or 8 or 9 pictures that he sends with various labels, and they're not always the highest quality picture, but
sometimes it's like the back of their head, but it's enough that I can visually remember.
Oh, he was wearing that blue Hawaiian shirt, or she was wearing that weird pink hat, or whatever.
Yep.
And it's just enough of a visual cue. So that's a really helpful thing that Paul does.
Yeah, it's so good. And then just take pictures of your events.
Yeah.
Even if you're not going to label it and do all that stuff, please just start taking pictures of your events. Put them on your mailers. Put them on your website.
Send them to us.
Send them to us.
I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he's like, "What do you guys do for?" We were chatting about some feedback he was giving me about his most recent campaign, and he's like, I like your ads, but man, I don't love it that it's just a picture of the restaurant, or it's a picture of the venue, or there's a plate of food on the ad. And I'm like, well, do you have any pictures you could share with us from your event? Because I would love to use that. Because he's like, well, what do you guys do? And that's what Richie and I do. Like, we'll go stand in front of the venue and use that picture in our ads, or Paul and Bree and Casey and Carly and the team and Keith will use pictures of us presenting to a full room to kind of create this idea that, hey, I want to be a part of that group. I want to go see what these guys have to say.
If other people have been there, you just psychologically go, okay, it's not just me.
Right.
Other people are into
it makes it more trustworthy.
Yep.
Right. So take pictures of your events. Send them to the, if you're marketing with us, send them to the team at RA. We will use those in your advertisements, and your advertisements will improve as a result, because now marketing is all about building, liking, and trusting people, right?
That's all it is.
The seminar is doing that. Your advertising is doing that. If they see you in your advertisement presenting, they already know what you look like. Mm-hmm. And so when they come in, they're like, oh, that's the guy I saw in the ads. And, oh, this is the room. Just send us those pictures. Take them for yourself. Use them on your social, but send them to us too, so we can help you market better.
Last time we did a selfie style with the group behind us. If you're not sure what it should look like, or go to our website, goradigital.com. I think there's probably like 50 pictures listed on there of our customers and stuff, and you can get some ideas. But definitely take pictures of that. Use them in your ads. Get creative. Get custom. All of that. But then, going back to your point, if you can label them, I promise you it'll help in those appointments.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was that. I think
are we going to do another educational one?
I'm not going to say...
Never say never.
Yeah, I'm not going to say never.
I think both of us prefer the dinner format.
I do.
I think it meshes with our personalities. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with educational. Lots of folks have had a lot of success with it. But for us personally, I think I prefer it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's an easier environment for me to thrive in, for you to thrive in.
I just feel like it gives us a little bit of an edge. Mm-hmm. Because we've talked about it before on the show, like, we're a little bit younger than the average advisor.
Yeah.
We wear our Jordans, we got our stuff on, whatever. So it's pretty easy for you to object to us right away. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we're obviously a couple of young bucks, couple of studs, couple of man dime
pieces.
Coming in there. So, like, we got the confidence and the swag, no problem. But at the same time, I think anything that we can do to build our side of the fence, we got to do. Yeah. So for me, it just was, at least at this venue and the way that we did it with the Buka, it was just like, it didn't match our swag.
Right.
Where the restaurant, I feel like, does match our personality better.
It felt cheap.
It felt cheap to me.
It felt cheap, and it's probably because it was.
It was. Kind of. What did we spend on that one? $5,000.
The ads were pretty expensive.
$5,600.
Yeah.
On this campaign, we didn't write any business off it. So this is our second campaign that we wrote no business off of.
Right.
But huge, massive learning lessons built in. I have no problem spending that money on myself, on our education, and learning what we learned so we could go forward. No problem at all. And then because we're so consistent, now we told you 2023 we're going at it. So this is now March. This event was March, was it 13th?
Something like that.
14th. We're doing 2 campaigns in March now. So we're actually hosting 4 events. This is our first month we've done that since we started doing seminars. We were doing 1 per month. Now March, we're doing 2. We're ramping it up. It's time to go. So because we know there's 2 other events behind these 2, again, I'm not as worried about losing these because we've got at-bats coming.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well,
real quick, I got to talk about these and we're going to wrap up.
Okay.
These shoes right here are the 3s.
They are 3s.
And they are the inspiration behind our website.
They are. Well, more backstory. Those were the first pair of Jordans I ever owned.
Yep.
Richie, I don't remember why, but you were just like at a shoe store and you're like, hey man, they got these J's. There's black ones and these red ones. Do you want a pair? And I'm like, heck yeah, I want a pair.
Yep.
And he bought them for me and I loved the way they looked.
Yep.
I put them on and they were too small.
Just a half size too short?
Half size too small. And I wore them a couple of times, but my feet hurt so bad in them that I was like, Rich, I'm not going to wear them. It hurts too bad. I can't wear them. So gave them back to him. And that was the start of my sneaker addiction, was that pair of shoes right there.
Yeah, this pair has the elephant print. So again, if you go to our website, you're going to see some elephant print in there.
Yep.
This shoe, when I was building that thing, really was like the visual, creative inspiration behind the site.
Yeah.
So, and then we, obviously our colors are red, black, and white. Gray, maybe a little bit. Yeah. But on the site now, seminars are blue.
Yep.
Lead generation is orange. And we did that. So, like what you got lead gen shoes on right there.
Yeah, I got lead gen shoes on. And maybe the next episode I'll wear my racers that are the seminar blues.
Boom. I'll pick up, I'll wear my new ones I just picked up today.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank you guys. This is, I don't know what the next episode is. I guess we'll go over the next campaign. We'll keep riding this thing. Hopefully it's valuable. Hopefully we're helping in some way.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, go to our site, give us a call.
If you want to be a guest.
Oh yeah.
If you've got some good insights, we've started kind of teasing it even now before we've released these episodes, but we're going to have some guests, and I don't care where they're from. If you're an advisor, if you work at an FMO, an IMO, a broker-dealer, an RA, a carrier, this is an environment that we want to share. This isn't going to be about selling anything. This is going to be about sharing best practices and what you've seen, what top advisors are doing. So if you have an attitude of sharing and that's something that you want to do in the industry, that's what we're here for.
Yep.
So.
Let's do it. We'll see you guys in the next episode.